I'm Shreya Shrivastava and you're listening to the 8th episode of Let's Opmiz podcast series. And today we have Apoorve Khandelwal with us as our guest. Apoorve did his BTech from IT Delhi in 2009 and worked for BPCL for 7 years in the field of biofuels R&D. He went on to get his MBA from INSEAD in 2017 and then worked for Amazon EU in Luxembourg and then in Netherlands as a strategy consultant. He returned back to India in 2020 and joined CEW and has been working in the field of agricultural food systems since then. So welcome to Let's Opmiz podcast, Apoorve. So ये
Very glad to be here, Rajan.
great. So ये तो introduction जो है ये हो गया professional introduction. Apart from this, Apoorve is an amazing dancer and choreographer, and he is a very good tabla and drum player as well, and he also can act, right? I remember your mono acting, that was awesome. So Apoorve के पास मैं तब जाता हूँ जब मुझे किसी बहुत ही कॉम्प्लेक्स टॉपिक पे ब्रेनस्टॉर्म करना होता है, और आज का हमारा जो पॉडकास्ट है ये फोकस करेगा हाउ डू वी मेक डिसीजंस, आइडिएशंस, ठीक है? सो हमारी जो ऑडियंस है बेसिकली वो फर्स्ट टाइम एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं या फिर वो लोग जो कि बिजनेस स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं या दे हैव अ स्मॉल बिजनेस, ओके, और बेसिकली दे आर लुकिंग फॉर ways to increase their business and like run their business smoothly, ठीक है? So डिसीजन मेकिंग जो है एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट होता है, राइट? किसी भी बिजनेस को चलाने में, राइट? इनफैक्ट जो बिजनेस ओनर है या एंटरप्रेन्योर है, सो उसका मेनली जो काम होता है वो डिसीजन मेकिंग ही होता है, राइट? सो डिसीजन मेकिंग को आप कैसे अप्रोच करते हो?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for that great introduction, Sajan. I don't know how many of folks who I work with really know about those aspects that now you have revealed on this podcast. They're all gonna ask me about all this stuff now. So thank you. I don't know whether I should be happy or not. But I think you started with a very difficult question and already touched on the right first point, that decision making must happen. As a leader,
Right.
as a business owner, you cannot just run away from decision making. Decisions are linear.
Right.
And I think the first capacity of a leader is just to be able to take decisions and be happy with it, because decisions गलत होंगे सही होंगे, you don't know,
Right.
and be comfortable with ambiguity. I think so. पहला तो mental conditioning ही है, you know,
Okay.
that really need to be worked out. Just being okay with taking decisions and taking that risk and knowing that this may not go in the right manner, and this is part of the game. This is part of life. This is part of business. So that you're not panicking
Right.
when things are going south, if they're going south, or getting too excited when they're going north.
Right.
So yeah, I think first is that mental conditioning. I think it is generally undermined, or not so undermined, so under discussed, and उसको लोग इतना appreciate नहीं करते हैं. And then definitely, because I know your journey, you have been through some not very, very difficult, but also very enriching experiences. So I'm sure you can appreciate that. दूसरा decision making में then the process बहुत ही, वैसे ऊपर से देखें तो बहुत simple ही है, right? You need to generate ideas, evaluate ideas, and take decision,
Right.
right? और आइडिया जनरेट करने के लिए क्या क्या करना चाहिए, आइडिया इवेल्युएट करते समय क्या सोचना चाहिए, क्या करना चाहिए, maybe we divide this into two parts
Right.
and discuss.
Right.
I will if I start now, then ये बहुत बड़ा monologue बन जाएगा. So let me know
बिल्कुल। सो बेसिकली उस पे आते हैं। उसके पहले हम लोग ये डिस्कस करते हैं कि डिसीजन लेना भी जो है एक काफ़ी इट्स लाइक एक कोई काम करने में जो प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन होता है वो ना एक डिसीजन मेकिंग में भी बहुत बड़ा वो हो जाता है। इंसान ना लेना नहीं चाहता डिसीजन। तो हालांकि बहुत एब्स्ट्रैक्ट हो रहा है कन्वर्सेशन कि कैसे डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन को अवॉइड किया जा सकता है। लाइक डिसीजन लेने की ज़रूरत कब पड़ती है? जब कुछ चेंज करना होता है, राइट? यू वांट टू चेंज समथिंग, देन यू हैव टू मेक अ डिसीजन, राइट? अदरवाइज तो कुछ अगर कुछ डिसीजन नहीं लिया जाए तो जो जैसा चल रहा है वैसा ही चलता रहेगा, राइट? तो ये चेंज लाने की ज़रूरत कब है, और अगर ज़रूरत है तो उसको जैसे उस प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन को कैसे दूर किया जा सकता है? हाउ डू यू अप्रोच लाइक व्हेन यू वांट टू मेक अ डिसीजन? लाइक
There are so many different questions, Srinjani, and indeed, this may get a bit abstract, so I'll try to make it more tangible. So I think first, when do we need to take a decision? वो sense making होनी चाहिए. This is the moment to take a decision, and वो बहुत difficult होती है. Because I think a good example that comes to my mind is Al Gore, जो US presidential election के लिए लड़ रहे थे, I think a couple of decades ago. He used to, in his sort of public speaking, he used to take an example of a frog, जिसको एक पानी में रखा और पानी को गर्म करना शुरू किया. पानी ग्रेजुअली इसका टेम्परेचर बढ़ रहा है, बट फ्रॉग जंप नहीं करता है. 80 डिग्री सेल्सियस, 100 डिग्री सेल्सियस वाटर गोज, फ्रॉग डजंट कम आउट, बट उसी और वो मर जाता है उसमें. दूसरा है कि एक फ्रॉग के लिए आपने एक ठंडे पानी में नहीं डाला और उसको धीरे धीरे टेम्परेचर इंक्रीज नहीं किया, बट सीधा उसको 50 डिग्री सेल्सियस, 60 डिग्री सेल्सियस पानी में डाल दिया और तुरंत चल के बाहर आ जाएगा. बिकॉज फ्रॉग कैन ओनली रिस्पॉन्ड टू चेंज व्हेन इट इज फेल्ट. जो छोटे छोटे चेंजेस होते हैं उसको रिकॉग्नाइज नहीं करता है, और वो बड़े चेंज को एक रिकॉग्नाइज करता है तो बाहर आ जाता है, और छोटे चेंज को रिकॉग्नाइज नहीं करता है. और यदि पानी का टेम्परेचर ग्रेजुअली 100 तक हो जाए तो भी वो कर मर जाता है. So what I learned from this example, and this is, I think it's a very impactful example for me, is that sometimes we just not registering कि change situation में change हो रहा है, because of change gradual है.
right.
So that can be one reason. Very, like say, sometimes हम actively procrastinate नहीं कर रहे हैं, but we're not registering the need.
Right.
यार decision लेना चाहिए क्योंकि सिचुएशन बदल चुकी है और धीरे धीरे बदली तो एहसास नहीं हुआ.
Right.
और इसका सोल्यूशन क्या हो सकता है इस पर डिस्कस करते हैं. बट दूसरा है फिर हम जब एक्टिवली प्रोक्रेस्टिनेट करते हैं.
Right.
आई थिंक दिस आल्सो लिंक्स बैक टू समटाइम्स पर्सनालिटी टाइप्स. सम पीपल जस्ट आर वेरी लीडरशिप काइंड. उनको बस फोरफ्रंट पे रहना अच्छा लगता है. वांट अटेंशन, and the way to find attention sometimes is to keep on taking decisions. So for some it does very natural. But many personality types may find it uncomfortable. For example, me sometimes. Now I am a conflict avoiding person. That's what I discovered about myself.
Okay.
And the conflict है वो इस तरह का भी नहीं कि यार किसी से कोई conflict हो जाएगा. But sometimes discovery myself कि यार कुछ बुरा चल रहा है, राइट, मेरे बिजनेस में या मेरे प्रोजेक्ट में, और उसको मुझे हैंडल करना है. Now something is not going right, and to just जब मैं डिसीजन लूंगा उसके बारे में, तो I will have to come close to reality. I will have to come face to face to that reality.
Right. You have to face it.
And वो just that emotion, यार वो it is not going to be a pleasant experience. I know. Is to avoid that. Sometimes we are procrastinating.
Right.
Yeah. So some of the reasons that come to my mind, I've done that. I've delayed some of the actions because I knew that rendezvous with those actions or those conversations is not going to be a pleasant experience. Yeah. So some of the reasons I think we do it. Sometimes we do it. I think the delay in decision making because यार इन्फॉर्मेशन ही नहीं है यार, कैसे ले लो डिसीजन,
राइट
बेसिक नहीं है. एंड your juniors are coming to you and they're asking for suggestions, and you're like, I cannot find a way to make a meaningful decision. Yeah, I'm okay with even taking planning decisions. So I think दो तरह के लोग होते हैं. लोगों को डर लगता है कि यार जो डिसीजन होगा उससे रिजल्ट क्या होगा, वो हम ऑलरेडी डिस्कस कर चुके हैं कि we'll have to take those decisions.
राइट
But sometimes we are also not able to figure out a way to take those decisions. Hey, how do I think about this? अभी तो ऐसा लग रहा है कि तुक्का ही दे रहा हूँ, ए और बी ऑप्शन है, ओके ए. I have no way to evaluate it,
राइट
even in my mind. So sometimes just not being able to have a way of evaluating options is also delaying decisions. Yeah, some of things that I have observed in others and in myself that I'll share. And one definitely जो सबसे पहले वाले तरीके को solve करता है कि we are not able to register change is having structured in your calendar meetings that are just for taking decisions. So आप हर 2 हफ्ते में you set meetings that you will evaluate this, this and this, and this kind of decisions need to be taken, and even affirming to your team कि यार इस issue पर ये वाला decision ले सकते थे, नहीं ले रहे हैं because this is the reason. This verbalizing it is also a decision. Decision नहीं लेना एक particular direction में main decision है. तो इसको structure कर देना अपने schedule में कि इन decisions evaluate करने हैं हमें हर हफ्ते, हर महीने, हर साल. क्या solve for the first time कि हम register नहीं कर रहे हैं.
ये तो एक्चुअली मुझे मतलब मैं भी अपने कैलेंडर में हर फ्राइडे का एक वो डाल के रखा हुआ है कि KPI रिव्यूज़ करते हैं. अगर KPI रिव्यू करूँगा तो डेफिनेटली कुछ इवैल्यूएशन होगा, फिर कुछ डिसीजन होगा, बट उसको रिलीजियसली करना ये काफ़ी, क्योंकि देयर आर सो मेनी अदर थिंग्स दैट इज़ हैपनिंग कि वो मिस होता है कई बार. Right. So that is
And I think I feel you. मैं ऐसा नहीं है. दुनिया के साथ ये है कि वो स्ट्रक्चर कर दिया प्रोसेस और फिर इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए
implementation actually काफ़ी मतलब वो differentiating factor हो जाता है कि who is making a progress and who is like not making on that front. Right. So second thing that you're saying something.
But उससे रिलेटेड बात है, इसलिए I respect entrepreneurs a lot because you might recall our conversation. We irritated a lot, right?
Right.
Yeah. Something that I don't like about myself is that I did not go full throttle and implement them, right? In my own my own startup journey. We was a full thinking of ideas and therefore implementing your ideas, your own thoughts religiously. It's the thing. It's the thing that differentiates a real entrepreneur from an ideator.
Right.
Anyways, so on the latter one, when we are sort of building things because of our own ways of looking at the world, ways of engaging the world, our own nature. Yeah, ये बहुत ही मुश्किल है. So I think first step is to be aware.
Right.
Yeah, this is what I do.
Right.
This awareness is first.
I think that structure that you just mentioned, कि हर week या फिर हर 2 week पे एक meeting you have set up जिसमें कि you have to evaluate. तो आई थिंक यही जो है दूसरे टाइप के भी डिसीजन प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन को ओवरकम कर सकता है, राइट? बिकॉज once you have to you are bound to take a decision, you are bound to evaluate things, then things will reveal, right? You will get to know that.
I agree. So वाला decision जो self conflict के लिए avoid कर रहे थे, now conflict with self, conflict with bad information or face to face coming with bad information, I think they will get solved. Those decisions that we are delaying because we're not able to figure out a way of thinking, I think उसके लिए we need to discover our own capacity, or develop our own capacity to always have a way of thinking about everything.
Right.
And this is very difficult, I think. Always having a way to think about everything. I think that's what is required to take decisions in any scenario. Yeah, I do think there are certain ways, certain capacities that can solve for it. Let's discuss about that. But yes, overall, I would agree. If it is just procrastination because of conflict, yeah, there was, I think the first reason I forgot, but that was also an internal reason. वो सब मीटिंग स्ट्रक्चर कर दो, इससे सॉल्व हो सकता है.
Right. Cool. So now coming on to how, like, now that you figured out that you have to make a decision and decision procrastination, let's say we have solved it, right? So now how to figure out what to decide? Like, there, let's say कुछ change करना है, right? कुछ चीज़ें हैं जो कि बदलनी है. You have to make a decision, right? So how to, yeah, exactly what you were saying कि वो framework क्या होगा जिसमें कि all decisions can be made. Like सारे तो पता नहीं हो पाएंगे कि नहीं, but majority, at least in context of business. So
Right.
business के केस में कैसे हम क्या कर सकते हैं?
Right. And also I agree. And then I think this is a really overused or abused word, framework, particularly in the sector that I come from earlier, strategic consulting.
Right.
And I was doing this MBA, and the word is so used that people get irritated, I think. Now, that's a bit, I have a framework.
Right.
But if you ask me deep down, really it's about having frameworks. Or about having the capacity to generate a framework to help you take a decision. The KPI that we were talking about, right? How are we evaluating what has changed and where is the need of me doing something? KPI is a framework, right? It's a way of looking at the problem. So I think as a leader, you need to have a way to look at the problems every time. You need to have a framework to take decisions. And by saying framework, let's not, let's say, कई बार कुछ नए वर्ड्स लाके ऐसा लगता है लोगों कि यार पता नहीं क्या करना पड़ेगा. और हमारी ऑडियंस के लिए ये वैसे नहीं है कि यार मैं कुछ फ्रेमवर्क सही सीख के आ रहा है. जस्ट आप कैसे सोचते हो? हम वक्त डिसीजन ले रहे हैं, राइट? जब हम ये पॉडकास्ट का टाइम डिसाइड कर रहे थे, हमने सबकॉन्शियसली डिसीजन लिया होगा कि मेरी पर्सनल लाइफ में क्या क्या कंस्ट्रेंट्स है, मेरे प्रोफेशनल लाइफ में क्या क्या कंस्ट्रेंट्स है, उन दोनों में कब कब पैसोट्स अवेलेबल है, इनमें से कौन सा वाला ले लूँ. और मे बी देयर आर थर्ड थिंग दैट मुझे पता नहीं है, कब मैं डिसीजन कब का स्लॉट्स अवेलेबल है. दोज आर माय ऑप्शंस. आई जनरेटेड ऑप्शंस, और फिर कौन सा बेस्ट होगा, मॉर्निंग, इवनिंग. मेरे ख्याल से तब जब थोड़ी एनर्जी, थोड़ी एक्साइटमेंट हो तो मॉर्निंग में कर लेते हैं, क्योंकि आई एम मॉर्निंग काइंड ऑफ पर्सन. So we took a decision. So there was some subconscious framework always acting.
So इसमें से एक point मुझे I can take away from this is that you have to evaluate your constraints.
Yes.
So evaluating constraints is one part of the, like, how do you take a decision?
Yeah. So इन्हें हम decision को देखें, कोई भी decision is about generating options and evaluating them. Evaluating them will happen based on criteria. कि ये 4 ऑप्शन है, आप उसको रो में लिस्ट कर लिया. Just imagine how you will do it formally. You don't need to do it formally every time, but there are 4 options. अब उसके 1, 2, 3, 4 criteria आप उसमें स्कोर कर रहे हो उसको, right? इसमें take. Now this option follows this criteria, but this option does not follow the second criteria. So out of the window. So constraints can be one of those criteria that you would want to look at. But indeed, you need to have a good list of important criteria. I mean, the idea is not to keep on listing everything. No, मतलब निर्णय नहीं ले सकते, right? सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट क्राइटेरिया क्या है वो क्विकली ध्यान नहीं करते हैं। कंस्ट्रेंट्स होंगे, कुछ ना कुछ बेनिफिट्स होंगे, राइट? सो जनरली इट्स अ कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस कि क्या क्या फायदे हैं,
राइट,
क्या क्या नुकसान हैं, एंड यू आर evaluating those 2-3 options. बट जनरली डिसीजन लेते समय वो कंस्ट्रेंट जो है या नुकसान जो है उनको थोड़ा ब्रेक डाउन करना पड़ेगा कि कहाँ पे कंस्ट्रेंट है, किस तरह की कंस्ट्रेंट है और किस तरह के फायदे की बात कर रहा हूँ मैं।
राइट,
तो जस्ट बिल्डिंग ऑन द एग्जाम्पल कि कब पॉडकास्ट करना चाहिए हमें इन टर्म्स ऑफ इवेल्युएटिंग डिफरेंट टाइम स्लॉट्स। मॉर्निंग, सो ऑप्शन हो गया मॉर्निंग में करें या आफ्टरनून में करें, एंड क्राइटेरिया होगा कि फायदे और नुकसान। फायदे में यार एनर्जी कहाँ पे ज़्यादा आएगी, क्रिएटिविटी कहाँ पर आएगी,
राइट,
एक ये क्राइटेरिया हो गया। दूसरा, कहाँ पे दिक्कतें ज़्यादा, कहाँ पे टाइम मुझे फैमिली या पर्सनल लाइफ को ज़्यादा देना है, दूसरा क्राइटेरिया हो गया। तीसरा हो सकता है कि कहाँ पे एक कॉन्टिन्यूड स्लॉट मिल जाएगा, मतलब मुझे क्यूमुलेटिव नहीं 2 घंटे तो मिल सकती रात को, बट वो 15-15 मिनट के टुकड़े में मिलेंगे,
राइट,
सो दैट इज नॉट गोइंग टू हेल्पफुल। मुझे
Right.
कॉन्टिन्यूस 2 आवर का स्लॉट चाहिए, ये तीसरा क्राइटेरिया हो गया।
राइट,
तो मैंने अपने ऑप्शंस को देख लिया कि कहाँ पे 3 क्राइटेरिया फिट हो रहे हैं एंड वी टुक अ डिसीजन।
राइट,
ये सब कॉन्शियसली किया होगा हमने,
राइट, राइट,
बट इसको कॉन्शियसली करना, वर्बलाइज करना, और जब आपकी टीम है तो आपकी लीडरशिप के साथ करना कि उनके सामने आपने लेआउट किए ऑप्शंस, उनके सामने आपने लेआउट किए क्राइटेरिया, सबने पूछा यार व्हाट आई थिंक, और मेरे को ऑप्शन था कि जो मैं वैलिड करना चाहिए, और कोई इंपॉर्टेंट क्राइटेरिया जो मैंने मिस किए हैं, एंड यू टेक देयर इनपुट्स एंड देन यू कलेक्ट टेक अ डिसीजन इफ यू आर वर्किंग एट अ टीम, then that's leadership. But if you're working as a one-person army, you are doing this actively for yourself so that you're deliberate about your decisions instead of being accidental about your decisions.
राइट। इससे ना मुझे एक और चीज़ याद आई। बहुत पहले जब हम लोग राइटर बाबू के ऊपर आइडिएट करते थे, सो आई यूज टू कम टू यू एंड वी यूज टू डिस्कस लॉट अबाउट विजन, राइट? एक एक होता है विजन, एक होता है मोटो, लाइक व्हाट इज़ द मोटो ऑफ वट एवर यू आर डूइंग। सो विजन और मोटो में क्या डिफरेंस है? विजन होता क्या है एक्चुअल?
Yeah. Motto or vision? Yeah, frankly, motto, I don't understand a lot. Maybe I've not been using that in my own work, in my own sort of conversations a lot. Vision, we actively use
ओके,
in different settings, in my current job, current role, in my earlier roles. So, vision, I think that's another word for dream. Like, what's that collective dream? That now, I mean, collective vision to collective dream, individual vision to individual dream. So, where do you want to be 20 years down the line, 25 years down the line? It really depends on what horizon, कितने दूर का सपना आप देख रहे हैं। सो वो सपना और उस ऐसे उसकी प्रॉपर फ्रेमिंग, मतलब कई बार सपना होता है और सबकॉन्शियस होता है, उसको जब आपने when it surface it, verbalize करते हो, उसको लिखते हो, I think that's what is the vision that you want to follow,
राइट,
right? And generally, purpose of vision is clear, that keeps on driving you. Purpose of collective vision would be that keeps on driving everyone together. Then it's a collective vision. If it is only driving a couple, it's not a collective vision. And that, I believe, is one of the criteria, or it is it will have to link with the criteria that you have. तो आज के डिसीजन जो आप ले रहे हो, अपने ऑप्शंस और जो क्राइटेरिया हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे, इनको आपके विजन की तरफ आपको नहीं लेके जा रहे हैं वो क्राइटेरिया, then those are not the right criteria.
राइट,
Or you just say that's your vision, but that's not your vision because your criteria that you care about don't really talk to your vision. So, for example, if you are if you want to say that you are a altruistic person and your vision is just seva, but if their criteria is यार कहाँ पे मैं ज़्यादा पैसा कमाऊंगा, right? If you're evaluating that as an option, then either your criteria is off or your vision is off. But this criteria may still be good if you're evaluating profit for the sake that ज़्यादा मैं यदि इसमें profit कमा पाता हूँ, then I will be able to expand my operation so that मैं और लोगों की सेवा कर पाऊँ.
Right.
If that is how you're looking at that criteria, then it is linked with your question. I think that's a way to think about vision and then also about decision in that context.
Right. Cool. So जो स्ट्रेटेजी कंसल्टिंग है, ये काफ़ी, जैसे जो बड़ी कंपनीज होती हैं वो स्ट्रेटेजी कंसल्टेंट कंपनीज को हायर करते हैं, जैसे मैकेंजी हो गया या फिर बेन एटसेट्रा. सो देयर मोटिव टू हायर दीज पीपल इज टू let them figure out a way to solve a problem, right? So you have also worked as strategy consultant, right? Was there any problem related to commerce industry?
What do you mean by
Commerce as in e-commerce.
or trading? Help me understand. What is the scope of commerce industry nearby?
Anything. So basically, including trading, e-commerce. Like if someone is trying to sell a product or service in any form. Yeah.
So I was doing this strategy consulting for generally food sector organizations and particularly on the production side. So we used to engage with supply chain actors who were supplying food to European organization. So if Nestle is delivering a product in EU, they are paying their cocoa from Africa, countries in Africa that produce cocoa beans. And those companies who are doing that there, trading or sort of producing those beans, are the supply chain actors. And Nestle's success is dependent on the supply chain actors' success, sustainability. So they won't hire us. I'm just taking the name of Nestle as an example. So basically, it does not mean that I work for them, or does I no, and this is not in denial either. But basically, as an example, those are the kind of actors that I worked with. As and wherever with that, so yes, so those are the examples I can talk about.
Kind of problems that you were solving there. You were a task to solve. So that example, that problem statement for maximizing profit for small supply chain actors, that is very interesting for our audience actually, because वहाँ पर we can learn how to approach that problem, because ultimately maximizing profit is one of the main motives of any business, right? So can you elaborate more on that?
Yeah. So the process was that we had a way of solving that problem, right? We will go try to understand what are their revenue sources, what are their sort of drivers, cost drivers, try to see which ones are the bigger drivers of revenue and cost. They also try to look at their balance sheets, what are the big assets, how are they capitalizing on them, what are the liabilities, and what are the risks for them. Wherever we identify, basically as soon as we identify the big drivers, right, we'll start asking, one, investigating, how can you sort of, where are the big potentials to improve your revenue? Where are the big potential ideas? What are the ideas to reduce their costs? But obviously, by doing that, the idea is not just reduce your cost in short term, but more sustainably or long term. Sometimes you reduce costs in short term and then it leads to costs in longer term.
Right.
So aware of those risks as we take as we click the options. So all this, right, is to discover options. That how can we do that? While managing these constraints, so can we keep on listing options? We would also go and try to map sometimes their own ecosystem, right? You as a supplier is getting inputs from here, not selling to this person, these are the service providers, etc. There are the strong relationships where there are other risks, where sometimes the supply is, let's say, fluctuating. Try to take the map and bring it to them. Many times these actors have all this information and may not be putting it all in front of them, and therefore not be deliberate about their decisions. So we will definitely bring this on paper or not draw all these things in front of them, so they are part of that process. So they now start seeing, understanding their own businesses better. As part of the process, when we are trying to understand the business, right? So that would be the process generally. In this process, we will identify opportunities, and then also evaluate those opportunities.
Right.
So sometimes, how about scaling this product up because you're getting a lot of market? What I think is going to be the profit in future per kg on this? But some of the ideas that they have, we out of that over not 10 years period versus other ideas that they had come up with. We will again model them in the Excel. So there was a cost, the revenue and sort of cost spreadsheets that we used to create, not only to identify the biggest drivers and opportunities, but also then use that to model how would some of their ideas would pan out and what kind of revenues they can generate going in it, and therefore which ones are superior as compared to other. But obviously you cannot keep on modeling every other idea. Before that, there would be some prioritization that we do. So imagine we identify 10, 12 ideas with them. You will run a prioritization exercise using certain criteria to then come up with like these are some 3-4 big ideas where we should try investing, and we model that. That will also tell us, okay, how much of investment it will require, etc. And then this organization would send us to them. Their supply chain actors might want to also invest in some of the investment opportunities that we sized based on those top 3 ideas. So that was a general process in this kind of problem statement.
Okay. So basically, you were evaluation of ideas or basically options, and then making projection long term so that it is sustainable.
ये potential में आएगा है कि basically really try to seek numbers. यार ये वाला जो idea मेरा है future में क्या इसका result आने वाला है.
Right. So that projection is actually the difficult part, right? Because listing of options, they themselves might have like give data, like data दिया होगा और बताओ ये सारे options हो सकते हैं because it's their industry and their business. So projection कैसे निकालते हैं? Like,
Alright.
yeah.
So very frankly speaking, as a team, we had as a method.
Okay.
But we are then asking then the questions, and their responses only would allow us to feed in those variables so that they can do the predictions, right? And it's at tracking, it was not rocket science. It was just, if you are able to create your own income statement for this year, right? These are the revenue, these are the costs. And now if you simulate in your mind, one of the ideas that I'll start expanding this production, and you start imagining in your mind, okay, if for this production to engage, sort of expand, how much of the production capacity will have to increase? Therefore, what are those investments that I'll have to do? And every year, how much of the production I can imagine would increase? How would I increase the market? What is my estimation of kitna market I can expand based on my own capacities? उसके लिए कितने sales person मुझे increase करने पड़ेंगे? So just I'll keep on asking the questions that help you, let's say, predict the income statement of next year, right? वो सारे cost and revenue elements हैं. You start asking yourself, कि वो क्या होने वाला है? Logically, you can actually create next year's projection, the next year's projection. And so logic समझ में आ जाएगा वो क्या trend है.
Right.
Then you can sort of keep on following that. Also keep in mind other external constraints, क्या risks आ सकते हैं. तो उसमें therefore you might want to want scenarios. यार ये एक सिनेरियो जिसके अंदर कोई कंप्यूटर एंटर नहीं करता है, पर मान लो कोई कंप्यूटर एंटर कर गया तो सिनेरियो में शायद इतना पेस ना है, तो वो इस स्पीड से जाएगा, तो मेरा रिटर्न क्या होने वाला है, कब तक आने वाला है, मेरे इन्वेस्टमेंट्स कब तक रिकवर कर पाऊंगा. तो इन दो सिनेरियोस के बीच में यदि मैं काम करने वाला हूँ, एक तो ये लेट्स से नॉट सो ऑप्टिमल बट दिस ऑप्टिमल सिनेरियो, बहुत कितना है बार कब मेरे को पता चल सकता है कि where are the entry points for making interventions. Anyway, the point is the prediction for the project of if you're trying to create scenarios for your income statement, just follow the logic of each of the element, try to predict it, think of scenarios, and make sense of the work.
Okay. Right. So basically projection पे इसलिए मैं ज़्यादा interested था because मैंने एक दो और आइडियाज़ इवेल्युएट किए थे यहाँ पटना मूव करने के पहले. ठीक है, तो मैंने भी प्रोजेक्शंस बनाए थे. ठीक है, और जो प्रोजेक्शंस थे वो इतने बुरी तरह से फेल हुए थे बिकॉज इनपुट मैंने बहुत कम लिया था. लाइक ऑल माई प्रोजेक्शंस वेयर बेस्ड ऑन लाइक वॉट एवर आई कुड गैदर ऑनलाइन और सिटिंग देयर. बट व्हेन वंस आई वॉज हेयर and once things were moving, all those projections actually totally fell apart. So actually now when I think those could have been solved, but yeah. So
yeah, but also the purpose of projection is to, let's say, trigger action in the right direction. And projections are always you're making it could afford reality, right? And you keep on discovering new things every year about yourself, your own project, about others. So also, I think an active effort of keep on correcting those projections. Why appreciating कि यार ये correction क्यों हो रहा है? Which is the driver that is not going as per I had imagined. The growth rate of market that I had imagined is not actually that much. And so correct that. But you also understand why it's not that much. Because वो driver है ना, उसको you unpack सब driver मिल जाएंगे.
right.
कि I'm just making some stuff up. कि तुमने सोचा था कि यार तुम्हारे वाला product इतना बेचने वाला है because ये वाला segment और ये वाला segment और ये वाला market segment में I will start penetrating. Now if your overall growth is not happening that much, you can always start investigating to which sub-segment is not responding. To be that well. And when discover कि यार ये सब segment भी मैंने expect किया था कि my product will accelerate there, it is not happening. So projection में अपना purpose एक तो solve किया. Now you know this is the thing which is not going as per our projection. So उसको connect कर दो.
Right.
But then also solve for it. I think always assume कि projections may not go well, but just वो famous line है ना, the purpose of planning. And I need to cover with the quote. But I think the purpose of planning is to not, or the test of the plan is not that the plan was as you. That's not the test of the plan.
Okay.
The purpose of the plan is to help you take decisions and then replan again next year.
So this links back to our decision-making framework, you can say, that you have to keep your plan, your projections on table while making those decisions, or in fact evaluating if a decision needs to be made or not.
Yes. And it has to be an iterative process. Right. Identify whether this plan or that plan needs to be changed every month, every 6 months, or every year. So yeah, and keep on correcting your projections and your plans. Totally aligned.
Right. So this brings to another related question. How frequently should you reevaluate your projections?
Yeah, both on external and internal conditions. And if certain projections are really driven by those kind of factors that don't change a lot, right? Or so either externally that things don't change a lot, or internally you don't have a lot of leverage of changing those things very quickly. So, for example, if you have adopted a new machine and there is no way to exit that in the short term, you would want to at least evaluate that for no, 3 years, right? I don't know, right? What kind of machine you work with, what are the exit opportunities there? But I think how frequently a decision can actually be implemented, right? Any kind of decision. So decisions can be actually implemented every month, but for example, HR decision, right, may not be a monthly decision. It may be a quarterly decision, right? So whatever decisions in your opinion, what should be the ideal frequency of that decision making? That should also be the frequency of projection direction. I don't remember in HR planning in another consulting company that we were, because every week sought for human resources.
Okay.
Because some project is starting, someone is going off for a week, anything urgent. But we also have a monthly plan. We also have a 6-monthly plan. So for the same issue, HR management, there are certain decisions that take 6-month timeline. Some with HR would take a monthly timeline or a frequency, and some of those decisions would remain a weekly conversation. So in the same topic of HR, different kind of decisions, some strategic, some very tactical and operational, and we had projections for both.
Okay.
We were doing this hourly estimation, कितने लोगों को किस बजट में कितने कितने घंटे लगाने हैं. तो इस साल इस हफ्ते किसी को बहुत दिक्कत होने वाली है क्या रहें आप ये decision के लिए उस हफ्ते का प्रोजेक्शन था. बट हमें कितने लोग हायर करते हैं, that's a different level of decision.
Right.
और उसके लिए फिर आप वो every month you are trying to analyze that, right? Something like that.
Cool. I think we have covered a lot. काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें cover की decision making पे. Right. Let's close this podcast with your your most important learning that you have learned from all the work that you've done so far and your MBA for small business. What should they focus? Like one thing, only one thing. The most important comes to your mind.
Just coming with great ideas, great options, great strategies won't take you anywhere.
Right.
Implement. That's where the success is.
Cool. Great. Thank you so much, Apoorve, for giving this time for the podcast.
Oh, thank you, Srijan, for getting me in here. Always fun talking to you.
Yeah.
Not just fun, always enriching and exciting.
Same here. Cool. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care.
Yes.